under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jeannie?
I'd like to call the roll. President deMedeiros,
Here.
Vice President Burk,
Absent.
Councilor Perry,
Present.
Councilor Vieira,
Here.
Councilor Janick,
Present.
Councilor Cook,
Present.
and Councilor Edwards.
Here.
Consent agenda, approval of town council minutes, August 22nd. Regular meeting, Councilor Vieira abstains, absent. August 29th, 2022, special meeting, Councilor Cook and Perry abstain, absent. Acknowledge receipts and minutes from boards, commissions, and committees. Economic Development Commission, 2. Board of Canvassers, 2. Personnel, 3. Acknowledge receipts of reports. Town Administrator Department, monthly reports, August 2022. Town Administrator, Police, Fire, and Department overtime reports, August 2022. Acknowledge receipts of correspondence, Newport Mental Health, thanks for civic appropriation. Visiting nurses, H&H, thanks for civic appropriation. Letter from Nancy Papagno, short-term rentals. Letter from Marissa Matolucci, short-term rentals. Letters from A.J. Miranda regarding repavement of portion of Captain Circle and State Line location. Claim for overtime compensation from the Tiverton Firefighters Local 1703 IAFF. Approval of tax assessors abatements, $380.38. Approval of Narragansett electric pole petition for pole 150 on Bridle Way for the purpose of supplying electricity to AP 209, lot 132. Approval of the Bay Street extension to December 31st, 2022. Would any of the councilors like to pull anything from the consent agenda? Donna?
I would like to pull 4C1, Tax Collector Report Number 5. I was going to pull the letters for the short-term rental, but we will be having a hearing on that.
Yeah,
So,
we will be having a public hearing,
Right.
so that's why I put it there, and that'll be part of the public hearing.
right. I also wanted to pull 4D5, AJ Miranda.
Okay.
Oh, and 4G, approval Bay Street extension to December 31st.
Okay. Councilor Janick?
I did want to pull D3 and 4, just to acknowledge those, and D6.
Anyone else? I'd like to entertain a motion for the remaining of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion to be made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Donna, 4C1.
Looking through the administrator's report, tax collector, I noticed that number 5, real estate, taxpayers missing their first quarter, 202. I know, I'm not sure what the tangible is, 114, but it did say prior year real estate. I guess people in arrears in the first quarter were 62. If I'm reading that correctly, it just seems like a big jump.
Prior year real estate, 62. That's something different, isn't it?
No. She collects quite a bit on old real estate. She does. She's actually very good at collecting old real estate. So I don't think it's out of the ordinary at all. It may be a higher number. I'm sorry. It may be a higher number
But
than
what
what.
she's asking is.
No, I'm at- yeah.
Should she compare 62 to 202?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
it's quite a jump of people. I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, there's a lot more people that can't pay their first quarter taxes. I'm just
I'm
asking.
almost thinking that 62 is for the entire year. That's usually what that means.
Well, it says delinquent taxpayers that have missed first quarter,
It is.
and then they have the
All right,
breakdown.
yeah.
But I don't think that's what you, we have 6,600 properties, so 202 to me is not something that would be out of the ordinary.
Well, it's saying 62 from the previous year.
Yeah, we always have prior year. We always have delinquent,
No,
everybody.
no, but it's an increase.
There's only 62 late last quarter.
Last
compared to
quarter,
year.
but I don't think
Recognizing
that's
the trials.
true.
Is that the delta is not 202 versus 62? That's just 62 people who paid from the last year.
No, those are notices she sent out. That's the office prepared delinquent notices.
Yeah,
She sent out
right.
62 for prior year, which is.
But it's-
But
Unless I'm
Donna,
not
I think
understanding
it's
you-
what I'm saying. It's 62 for the entire year last year,
It's,
not for just,
it's all prior years that it's still delinquent.
no, 2022 is the real estate for the first quarter, so we're,
Right.
this year. So this year, the first quarter, there's 202 people
Correct.
delinquent,
And there's 114 tangibles.
tangibles. But then, prior year, that's 62.
I'm sorry, let me interrupt, but if you, the office prepared delinquent notices for taxpayers that have missed their first quarter.
First quarter.
Prior year, real estate, more than the first quarter, so there was 62 people who are more than the first
That
quarter.
didn't
delinquent,
pay
that
the
didn't
whole
pay-
year,
they
or
didn't-
whatever.
they did Whatever it is.
Right.
Prior year, it doesn't mean first quarter, it just means.
Right, that's
62
what I was
people
trying
who
to
have-
say.
Who have missed their taxes.
and also, I don't know if there's an increase and there's going to be a tax sale, and there's 37 properties on the initial list. I don't know if that's an increase from the previous year, it doesn't say.
That would be about the same, but what happens normally is that it gets whittled down to about 3 or 4. It's historical that they wait till the very last minute to come in and make those payments, and there's usually a handful at the very end.
Well,
And that's standard practice every year, Donna. We've
Well,
had,
no,
last
it-
year, I think we had 56.
it's not telling me anything. It's not explaining. I mean,
Okay, so what we'll do-
37 properties, is that more than last year?
I don't know unless I
whether-
go back and look at the numbers.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have this clarified for you at the next meeting.
I would appreciate that.
Okay, somebody remind me of that. I'll remind myself
I'll
too.
talk to Tony Lynn.
Okay.
And,
And Donna, your next one was D5.
yeah. All right, we come back to, A.G. Miranda, is it a woman or a man?
Man,
I'll just go A.G. Miranda.
Mr. Miranda.
Him, her,
It's a Mr., you haven't spoke to him?
yeah.
It's a
I-
Mr.
He has maps that I'm looking at, and it looks completely like what he's talking about is that it's Tiverton. You're supposed to come back with some type of explanation, because it looks like the lines show that
You saw
what
him.
he's complaining about is that his streets and what he's complaining about in Tiverton.
But he lives in Tiverton, we know
Right.
that.
He
right?
lives in
He
Tiverton.
lives in Tiverton.
Right, but
But the street isn't forever.
it's not showing that on this map.
The street that he wants paved.
Is that in front of his house?
He lives in Tiverton, though.
So Rick also reached out to Fall River and asked about the street, and they said that they're not willing to pave that road this time. They've kind of acknowledged that it's their road.
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of Pete. Well, all right.
I'm not sure which property is his, do you?
This is the corner one, just before you make that straightaway. With,
So 188? No.
I'm not sure,
172.
172 it says. Because he's the one that has all the water that also runs in from Fall
Oh,
River
here it
as
is.
well.
173, is that it?
Okay.
The, right here, 173, is that what he's talking about?
172, I thought.
172 is him, but what he wants paved,
He wants the straightaway paved that Rick believes is Fall River. The homeowners that live there have
believe
mailed
it's far.
on Fall River, and Fall River DPW has acknowledged that they're not paving their road. But we can do title searches on all these, that's,
But does Mr. Miranda live in Tiverton or Forest?
he lives in Tiverton. He lives on the corner of that road
Well,
before it turns.
something's not quite right, because
Right,
he
so his
keeps
Fall
coming
River
back.
line is wrong.
I wouldn't trust that map as,
That's an assessor's map.
Right. I think the forever line
Rick
is
uses the GISF map.
more this way. Donna. So he is in Tiverton.
And it was paved in front of his.
No,
He is-
I'm not questioning the fact that he's not in Tiverton. I'm just,
But his map may not be correct.
it,
Rick used a different map.
He
And
used
Fall
it-
River is saying that that's their road. Why would they say that? Do we plow that road?
we don't have a letter from them saying it's their road, do we?
Well, we
I
have
don't know
to-
if I have a letter. I'd have to ask Rick what he got. But Rick did communicate with Forever about that. And it's not the only area in town where we have this issue.
So that's, in a way, it's almost like when we couldn't get East Road done, it was all falling apart and everything.
East Road belongs to
The
Tiverton.
state.
No,
And
no,
it's a
no,
state
no,
road.
I know that, and there wasn't anything we could do till the state did it, which they
That's
just
correct.
did, looks good. But with Fall River saying they're not gonna do this road, it kinda leaves them in a problem, because I know they live in Tiverton, but
But this straight road is it's, to get to his
so
property.
Fall River doesn't wanna take any responsibility for that road.
Yeah,
And all these
No,
properties
he
on that road
he actually travels all through Tiverton.
Yeah,
He doesn't
this
travel
is
on Mass
wrong, Deb.
unless he goes to the properties that are on the water side of that area.
this is wrong, or this is not the way it's been explained.
Right.
Well, it's a GIS map,
Right.
it's not a survey map.
Do we have a decent map? Can we
Yeah,
have
we
a-
do, and
oh,
Rick
Can you have
saw-
something from the Fall River saying that it's their road and they're
Rick is
not
not
gonna
here.
do anything about it? I mean,
And we've talked to Rick about this.
But Forever is saying this is their road, and they
And
can't,
they're
and they're
not
not
gonna take
paving
care of it.
right
Not
now.
at this time.
Not
Not
at
at
this
this
time.
They've got priorities with their roads, like,
Like we do, like there's roads that we don't pave
They-
because
I
they're
I
not.
wonder where it is on some list that it would get done. I don't know. Well, all right, just thought I'd ask on that. The Bay Street extension, that's the next one I was going to talk about. At some point, when's this not going to get kicked down the road and none of the septic's getting done down there? I'm told it just pools and has nowhere to go, and all the water's going down there, and year after year, nothing's done. Like, what's the plan?
I don't believe that's what the moratorium's
Well,
about.
it affects Hilton Street, because it's supposed to go down.
But this-
So
that's not what the
they
moni-
won't do sewage because they can't go down, because sewage can't go up. But they won't go around the corner either. Bay Street being stopped from no dig also affects Hilton Street, because you can't bring sewage down. They don't even have it on a list to do sewage around my area because of
Not that I'm
Bay
aware of,
Street.
But I don't think that has anything to do with the moratorium.
I've been up there, I've talked to wastewater on several occasions, and there's no money, no phase, no nothing going on as far as bringing sewage to my area, which has all kinds of problems. And the first time I talked to them, which was a couple of years ago, was that they brought it just to the North Tiverton Water District building, and then the rest of us are left hanging. And I was told they brought it there because they need to go all the way down Hilton Street to connect it to Bay Street, and since there's a no dig, they're not doing anything. That's what I was told. That's how I understood it. But
I don't know, I still don't know what your question is, because
my question is how long is this gonna get kicked down the road?
so this
this
is
has
nothing to do with that.
It's
This is a
another no dig.
moratorium on properties, individual property owners. It has nothing to do with the streets. The town took over the liability of those streets. It has nothing to do with the moratorium. That's why I'm confused.
This has
Approval
to
of
do
Bay
with,
Street extension. The
There's a Bay
extension
Street
usually
extension, that
has to
whole
do
Bay
with the no
Street
stick.
area is under a moratorium for
Right,
construction.
that you can't dig.
Right,
I'm
that's
just
the
saying
property
that-
owners are under that
That
moratorium.
dig is affecting all my area because the sewage just stops because you can't go down the road because there's no dig. The moratorium affects all the homes in my area, which is kind of on the cliff. That's what I'm saying.
So I
That's-
think the third whereas talks about extensive testing. Do we know,
We've done extensive testing, and
Yes.
they're still doing it.
This-
And there were 2 properties that were left after the last report that was done, and now there's 1 that is the reason why the moratorium still
It's
needs to stay
because
in
of
its
that
place.
one property,
Correct.
but it has nothing to do with the street.
No, the street, the town owns. The town owns all the liability with those streets as well. Whatever the settlement was with the manufacturer, the developer, whoever, placed it. I wasn't here when this happened. It's history well before me about that whole Bay Street area. But the town settled this with all the property owners settled this, and the town took on the liability of the streets. If they're ever to open up those streets and put water, sewer, or any other utility in those streets, the town is obligated to repair and fix
Right.
whatever the
No.
remediation is going to be. It has nothing to do with the moratorium. If wastewater is not ready to put in sewer in the town, they would have to actually come to the town, you as a town council, and ask, this is next on our project, we want to do this, we
Yeah,
feel
I
there's
just
going to be
don't think
exposure.
this is next on their project. That's what I think it is. Like, that part of Hilton. But if you'd like, we can ask wastewater to clarify that.
It comes to us every year and we just extend it.
Or we extend it because there's certain properties that don't get cleared, am I right?
Correct.
So that's why we extend it. So we only have one left.
According to Chris, yes.
According to Mr. Hoffman.
And what do we have, like $300,000 left in the till and it's gonna cost like
I'll
millions
be
to
honest
do
with you,
it?
Donna, I have never looked into the Bay Street settlement. It has never come across my
I-
platter as far as, other than the extension of
I
this
don't know,
moratorium.
I just, I just look at my area, Hilton Street and State Street, and, well, State Street is half and half, but there's quite a few. Carpenter Street, part of it, they paid years and years ago to connect to sewage on their own. And then you have Blaisdell and you have Cliff Street, and yet I'm told you can't bring the sewage down because you could connect to sewage to Fall River if you were willing to go around the corner and connect. But there's never any talk about that.
But that's up to
There's
them.
no grant money, there's no money, there's continuous extensions.
So many of those areas up there were sewered years ago with community development block grant funds that were part of what the town, if I remember right, that's the lion's share of everything from the spring towards the north end of town were all done with community development block grants. And people did pay to connect to the line that was in the road as they went by. But the wastewater department, the wastewater, Tiverton wastewater, has its own plan of how they're going to sewer that end of
I
town.
was told there's no plan for my area at all. No grant money, no plan, no phase.
Well,
Anyway.
it's true not only for your area, it's true for Joe's area and for Jay's and for Bill's and everybody else's area up that way too. All those areas are suffering from overextensive use of
Like
septic
that whole
systems.
north end, very few have sewage.
Right.
So it's
Right.
not only Hilton. It's all of Garden
Right.
Heights, it's all the,
From Hooper North has it in certain areas.
right.
But from there south, nobody has it.
No,
Right, except for where they just put it in.
Except the, right,
Right.
on the water side.
Yeah, I think they just put in Robert Gray Avenue or
Yeah.
something.
Robert
like
Gray and then part of Riverside
that.
and,
Colonial.
yeah.
Yeah,
When
they're
they
only
went-
doing certain houses there too.
when they went by Stafford Road, my development, each of us, it wasn't sewer, it was water. We paid to bring water in because everybody has wells in that area. So we as a group said, if you're coming by,
Yeah, we'll hop on.
yes, we'll hop on.
All right,
All right,
I didn't
so,
get the answer I wanted. No.
Sorry.
Went some loose.
all right.
I'll look into it for you if you want, but it's,
Thanks, Chris. It's not just for me, it's for the whole.
no,
area.
I get that, but I'm not sure where their priorities are and what they're
I
doing.
guess I said, there's no plan as far as I know. I
But the
already
morning-
asked them.
But the moratorium has nothing to do with that.
No, it doesn't.
It
The
has to do
moratorium
with
has to
that.
continue in place until all those properties are
Or once
resolved.
every single house is cleared, then we don't have to do this anymore. All right, so I'd like to entertain a motion to approve 4C1.
Don't you want to do Deb's?
Well, I thought I'd just get Donna's done,
Yeah,
and then we'll do Deb's.
because I had so many, sorry.
4C1,
C
4D5,
and 4G.
and 4G.
Second.
Okay. Motion been made in second.
And the G, yeah, the 4G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motion been made in second. All those in favor? It just keeps me organized, Joe, so I make sure they all get done. So Deb's for
Okay.
D3.
I will be quick. So I'm going to take 3 and 4 together. They're both letters from women who have short-term rentals. And I know that we're going to be having a public hearing, but I know that I have gotten some correspondence from people, these two included, that they're questioning the $1,000 application fee. And I just want to put it out there that I think that some of these are very small, 1 or 2 bedroom homes, and they really don't make a whole lot of money, and so $1,000 could be a hardship for them. So if we can just keep that in mind when we're talking. Some of them are renting huge homes and they're making a lot of money, so 1,000 isn't a big deal, but for some of these people, it is. So that was just my comment on that. And I just had a question on the claim for overtime compensation. Is this just a notification for us?
So before a claim for money can be made against the town, any claimant has to notify the town through the clerk's office. So this is just a notification that they intend
Okay.
to seek damages from the town,
Which
which we knew already. They're
is
just,
in the process.
it's in the process of being mitigated or
Yes.
settled.
Okay,
But before they can even sue, they have to give us that notice.
okay.
They probably should have done this before.
Probably, yeah.
Okay,
I don't want to ask too many questions.
because we're in court right now for this.
All right. I just, that's what I thought, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to clarify.
Okay, so I'd like to entertain a motion to approve 4D3 and 4NG.
So moved.
Second.
Second, so moved, whatever.
Motion been made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay. We have one public comment. It's from Nancy Papagno. Probably said your name totally wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize. Did you want to come up and speak, or? We will be discussing this at a public hearing. I think it's our next meeting, right? Yeah, the 28th. Yes, and that's a public hearing where everyone will be allowed to speak.
Okay, then I pass on, and I appreciate what Ms. Jackson said. That is
Okay,
basically what I wanted.
okay, all right.
And it is Papagno, it's not very difficult. Papagno.
Papagno, thank you. I'll make sure I say it right the next time I meet you.
Okay.
Public hearing. Sergeant Leduc, Tiverton Police Department, consideration of a sound variance for the 4th Annual Child Safety Day at Grinnell's Beach on Sunday, September 18th, 2022, from noon to 4 p.m. Hello.
How's it going, guys?
We talked about this
Last
a couple of
meeting.
weeks ago.
Correct, yeah, it was 2
Okay.
weeks ago approximately.
All right.
But I think it had to go up
Yep,
in the
hearing.
newspaper or whatnot.
Yeah. I'd like to open the public hearing at this point. Is there anyone that'd like to speak on this subject? Anyone that'd like to speak on this subject? I'll close the public hearing. Any questions from the council? We heard all about this 2 weeks ago, I think. All right, do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we grant the variance.
The sound variance.
Sound variance for the 4th Annual Child Safety Day at Grinnell's Beach on Sunday, September 18th, 2022, from noon to 4 p.m.
Second?
Do I have to say meeting all legal requirements? I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Meeting all legal requirements.
It's always good to say that.
Okay.
So the motion's been made. The motion's been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Do you guys have a question?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we approve the special event permit as well as the sound, because,
That's not required, clerk's office grants that.
all right, okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure, that's why I'm asking.
We want to make sure the police stay right in line.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Immediately.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hopefully
See you,
we'll see
John.
you on Sunday.
We'll
You
be
will.
there.
Alexandra Santa, consideration of a sound variance for a wedding at 723 Sepauwett Avenue on September 24th, 2022, from 6:30 to 10:30, and request approval of a special event permit. Hi, Alex. Any questions from the council?
This isn't as nice as last one.
Well,
I
I'm
heard it
sure
was a
it'll be a
very
very
thick
nice
binder.
oh, if you would have seen the last one.
Is there a barbecue? Is there going to be a barbecue?
It's a clam
Barbecue?
boil.
Oh, even
Clam boil?
better. Clam boil.
Would you consider a barbecue?
Not this time. My engagement party was a barbecue.
Oh, you missed that.
You missed
Yeah,
it. You
maybe
didn't
the
get
next
invite.
party.
I didn't get the invite.
Bill's always trying to get to these weddings and these barbecues. But this is adequate, they're just teasing you.
Thank you.
I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak on this subject? Anyone here? I'll close the public hearing. Any questions from the council once again?
I've known Alex for a lot of years,
too.
since she was very little, so
Me too, at Regis
All
School.
grown up.
I know, seeing you all grown up.
Everything seems to be on Sepauwett Avenue, all these weddings.
It's a gorgeous
Right?
place.
Yeah,
You can blame COVID for that.
Yeah.
I swear, everyone we've approved lately. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve for a sound variance and for a special event permit.
I would like to make a motion to approve the sound variance for Alexandra's Santa's wedding, 723 Sepauwett Avenue on September 24th, from 6:30 to 10:30, and a request approval for a special event, which the town clerk will do, meeting all legal requirements.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Congratulations,
Thank
Alex.
you.
Have a
Congratulations.
beautiful day.
6C, approval of the proposed amendment of the Tiverton Code of Ordinance, Chapter 22, Businesses, Article 2, Farmers Market, to allow a farmers market on town or school department property, regardless of the underlying zone, with the permission of the town or school committee and school department is necessary. Before I open the public hearing, I put this, the next thing, the next request we have is to have this at Pond Gray. And although we had it last year there, it's not allowed. But we did it. So what I'm proposing is, in addition to everything that's mentioned, we also include open space and something else, or just open space would be
Or
adequate?
just say any town-owned properties, as long as you have permission
Well,
from.
town-owned but open space isn't.
Right,
so
but
it'd
that,
be-
Pardon Gray is jointly owned, it's land trust, open space, it's, as long as there's an approval by the owners, that's,
Oh, well, what I'll put,
Right.
yeah, open space and all other stakeholders.
yeah, I'm assuming,
Whoever has an ownership interest, that's kind of broad, yeah.
So how should I do
Okay,
this?
so Pardon Gray, is it owned by the land trust solely?
Open space and land trust.
I think it is.
I believe it's,
I know it's land trust, I'm honestly not sure that it's open space.
I think it is though, for some reason. Yeah,
It's zoned open space, I think, yeah.
it's zoned open space, the land trust.
This is land trust.
Okay. Well, you see my concern. I think it's a perfect place to have a farmer's market,
right,
But-
right,
we're not covered to have it there, so we need to,
right, so we need to incorporate
to
that
close
land
this all
use
up here.
into this, so that as long as she has permission, whether it was there or if there's some other open space that,
Well, it's town property, right? So it's town, I mean, it may not be town property, but it's public property, it's owned by the land trust, right?
so can we put public property? Would that cover it all?
with the consent of the owner.
Well,
With
it's
the
not
cons-
that public, because you have to have permission from the land
Right.
trust owns the land.
But that you already have, correct?
Yeah, she does already have
Right.
that, but it's not zoned for this.
So it doesn't fall under the
It
broad
does not
category
fall
of us giving
under-
approval.
It does not. So we have to kind of include them. Because it would be really, Pond Gray would be really the only place, right? Right?
I'm actually not, I mean,
Trying to think of what else would be.
well, it could be Weedamo Woods.
It could be, yeah.
So I think you want to just have it at, like, Pardon Gray is where you are planning on having it. I mean, you don't want it at Weedamo Woods or Highland.
Well, no, but it's always under the
Fort Park.
permission of the ownership. So,
Yeah, but it could be, if you made it like.
Should say, or property owned or managed by the land trust, and then it's up to their
yes,
permission.
property, or, okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing this now because of the next item. Everybody
I
gets this.
understand.
Property owned by the land trust
By the Tiverton Land Trust.
with their permission.
Right.
I'll add it in, yeah.
Okay. Now I'll open the public hearing. Anyone here would like to speak on the farmer's market? We actually changed this for the same reason, because even the school property, it's not, I know it's been there, but it's not zoned for that. So that's why we're changing all this,
We could have it in the back of the town hall.
We
You
can
still
have it in
couldn't do it there
back.
either.
you know? So,
That's kinda,
Up the hill.
yeah, so that's why we're doing this, because they're very limited to where they can have it. No, we can't have it in the cemetery.
They got stones
All right.
back there.
Anyone like to
You
speak?
wouldn't get any complaints.
I'd like to close the public hearing. Yeah,
I was just gonna say, because I know one of the things they were looking at also was Town Farm. So
Right,
that-
and-
So.
that's the reason why we have it.
that's the reason why this is here.
Okay, so that's, if
Right.
it's town-owned property or land trust, be very narrow so that you don't run into
Right.
problems down the pike with other.
Right,
places.
and it can't be done without the permission of
Exactly.
us.
We're just
Right.
trying to get rid of the gap.
Yeah.
If you really look at the zoning where they can have this, it's very limited. It's ridiculous. And I'm sure in the past there was a reason for that, but
What makes the farmer's market different than just a normal event?
Oh, there's a zoning requirement that a farmer's
Yeah.
market has a specific
Yep.
requirement that the
There's an actual
ordinance.
ordinance
On
that
farmers'
speaks,
markets. Farmers
that
markets.
speaks on farmers
And then,
markets.
and then the zoning code says that a farmer's market can only be held in certain places as long as that food or the stuff that you're selling is grown off the premises, not own, in other words, you're bringing in. So they make a distinction between farmer's market where the farmer brings, sells it on his own land, or you have a farmer's market and people come in. So I don't know why that distinction was made, but that's what we
Meredith, I'm
have.
sure somewhere down the line, before me actually, because I don't even know, so it was over 10 years ago, there must have been some kind of problem, and this is why this was here. Oh, there's Rick.
So just so clear, so it's going to read, except when the farmer's market is located at a municipal or school department facility or property with the permission of the town council or school committee, or property owned or managed by the Tiverton Land Trust with their permission, correct? So that's how it's going to read?
I know that's the reason. Yep, that sounds good.
And now you should be able to utilize any of the town properties.
Any questions from the council? Donna?
The only question I have, and I don't know what happened, that the ordinance was put in place 10 years ago, but we do have stores that are paying their taxes, and it does come in where you have these open markets that people just come in, and the people that have the sort of brick and stone stores or whatever are now being competed against that, paying their taxes. I think maybe that's where it's coming from, because, and I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here, because it can be a little unfair to people paying their, they have a store, it's not an open market, but it's a store, and they're paying real estate taxes. So with a farmer's market, people are bringing their wares there to sell it, and I guess they're paying their taxes. I don't know if they collect taxes. I'm just going to be out there. That I don't know. But it becomes where now there's competition with the people that are paying their real estate taxes, and they have to.
I don't
it's
think
just-
we've ever gotten a complaint about that.
I don't know if that
haven't.
was the reason
No, I know
for
what
the
the reason
10.
is, it just hit me, but I don't want to get, I don't want to get into it right now. It went way back. Yeah, I've never had a business call me and complain that they're doing this, have you?
Me?
Yeah, no.
No, I haven't.
And there's local
No.
people that are selling their goods there also, so.
Because I don't know what the story was 10 years ago that was put into place.
Well, I think because certain areas wanted it and there was a problem, the neighbors
it's
didn't want it
competition.
there, and it was the neighbors and the traffic, and that's what it was, I just thought of
Okay.
it.
You make your amendment first, and then we'll.
Yeah, so I'd like to make an amendment, as Mike stated,
The 22-8A.
22-8A, and just add
After,
property.
after school committee, comma, or property owned or managed by the Tiverton Land Trust with their permission.
Yes,
Okay, that's a motion.
that's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Now we approve the entire thing.
Public hearing.
I already, yeah. Anyone else would like to speak? I closed the public hearing, but everybody was fine. Okay. All right, so I need a motion to approve the entire ordinance with the amendment.
So moved.
Do I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Now, Meredith, you're legal.
Not to get 7 done.
Yeah, well, yeah, but now we can actually entertain it. Meredith Bauer, Tiverton Farmers Market, Harvest Market on Sunday, October 16th, my birthday, by the way, from 12 to 4 at Pot and Gray Preserve, 3460 Main Road. Request approval of a special event permit, subject to meeting all legal requirements. This was held last, Meredith, if you want to come.
Yes, so this is our second
It was very
annual-
successful. I
Yeah.
went to it, and
Yep, pretty much the same thing, 12 to 4 at Pardon Gray. Food trucks, vendors, music, there's no music variance. We're keeping it quiet.
yeah. The only comment I have, we had a traffic problem. So will there be a
Yes,
special detail?
so we're gonna have one detail, possibly two,
Okay,
and we're adding a second entrance exit to get
Okay.
everybody off the road.
because it was, like, it took me like 20 minutes to
Yep.
get there
Yep,
that day.
Yep.
Okay. Like, any comments from the council? Like to entertain a motion?
Make a motion to approve special event permit, subject to meeting all legal requirements, to Meredith Brower, Tiverton Farmers Market, Harvest Market on Sunday, August the 16th, 2022.
October.
October.
Or what did I say?
August.
You said
that's
August.
like
It sounded like October in my head. Sorry. October 16, 2022, from 12 PM to 4 PM at Pardon Gray Preserve, 346 Main Road.
A barbecue on the way, that's your problem.
Yeah, it might be-
Will there barbecue there?
Your tomatoes aren't gonna be red.
There will,
Oh,
there will.
What?
yeah, they say
There will be
a
barbecue.
Oh.
But you got a fan.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Good luck, Meredith. I
Thank
know
you.
it'll be
Good luck.
successful.
Thank you.
Is there a Pardon Gray event this year?
No, this is what they did last year instead of having it. And I guess they decided that that's what they were gonna do.
Okey-dokey.
Appointments and resignations, Cemetery Commission, 5-member board, 3-year term, 1 vacancy. Maureen Sylvia, 772 Stafford Road, request appointment term ending 4/15/2025. Is Maureen here? Come on up, Maureen. I had a feeling that's who you were.
I'm Benny's mom, remember Benny? You loved Benny, my golden doodle.
Yes. Well, I knew you weren't here just to watch Bob, so.
No. That's a job. That's a very tough job to try to keep Bob out of trouble.
So Maureen, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you would like the position.
Basically, I'm always originally born, raised in Tiverton, except for a few years here and there where I didn't live here. The Cemetery Commission, my parents, brother, and nephew were actually buried there, and I have a plot there myself. And I was on the parade committee this year.
I know, and it just hit me. You
Yeah,
did a really
and
good job.
I feel like that it was something that Dana had asked me to, and I worked with her and Bob and Bill, and I really enjoyed being on a committee, and we all got along. I felt like we were respectful of other people's opinions, and we got things done. So Bob had told me that there was a vacancy here, so I said I would go and put an application, but I've pretty much always been from the town. I've been in banking for 35 years, so hopefully I can bring something to the table when it comes to, finance and any of that other stuff too. So I thought it would be a good fit for me, maybe, explore what other things I would like to do.
Thank you. Any questions for Maureen?
You did a great job with the parade. The advertising was great.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, if we want to appoint her today, there's only one opening and one person applying. We'll have to waive our policy. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
There's three of you, okay. Motion's been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I'll just vouch for Maureen. I worked with her on the parade. She's intelligent, she has a great sense of humor. Towards the end, she really rolled up her sleeves and really took over and really managed the parade. She's going to be a great asset to either cemetery or any committee or commission she works on, so thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
So, motion made and second to waive the policy. All those in favor? Now, I would like to entertain a motion to appoint Maureen.
I will make a motion to appoint Maureen Sylvia to the Cemetery Commission. Appointment term ending 4/15/2024. Maureen Sylvia, 772 Stafford Road.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Welcome aboard, Maureen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just this once. You probably won't get a report ever again. Historic Preservation Advisory Board, 5-member board, 3-year term, 1 vacancy. Jeff Go, 56 Blackbird Street, request appointment, term ending 10/15/2024. Is Jeff here? Come on up, Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
I'm the one nobody knew, so. It's actually Gay, my last name is Gay, G-A-Y. I probably typed it in wrong on the application. So
yeah.
My actual, my resume is right, so that one's good.
Okay.
So I really am new to the town. I moved here a year and 2 months ago. My mom had lived here for 20 years and she passed away, so I inherited her house. And my wife and I were tired of the city. We decided we'd move here, and it's been a great move for us so far. One of the things I like most about the town is, speaking of the trust and all that, just the walking trails. We have a dog, so it's a great place to walk. He loves it. And as you go around, there's all these things, like these stone walls and these old foundations and really interesting facts about the town. So I thought this would be a good fit for me. I was a history major in college, history minor in college. And I also, about 10 or 11 years ago, was a volunteer in the Preservation Society in New Bedford, where I used to live.
Any questions for Jeff? Okay, so there's one position and one vacancy and one applicant. So would anyone like to make a motion to waive our policy?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and second to waive the policy. All those in favor? Okay. Now I'd like to entertain a motion for Jeff.
I'll make a motion to appoint Jeff Gay, is it? 56 Blackbird Street for appointment term ending 10/15/2024. And thank you.
So it's G-A-Y, correct? Okay. Because on the agenda it isn't, and then on the cover letter, okay. All right, so motion's been made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Welcome aboard and welcome
Thank you.
to the town.
Thank you, I'm thrilled. Thank you very much.
That's the last time you do
Acknowledging resignations. I'd like to entertain a motion to acknowledge Christopher Borden resignation for the Board of Canvassers effective 6/27/2022, and thank him for his service.
So moved.
And accept with regrets.
And accept with regrets.
Second.
Motion's been made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay. General business, Acting Fire Chief Committo, discussion possible vote to authorize grant application to the Rhode Island Department of Transportation, Office of Highway Safety for the Jaws of Life replacement, which was one of your capital requests, so you're taking after the other chief over there.
Learning well from him. Well, he should mention there was a grant. Yeah, he should mention that. So this is just a little background information on
Yeah.
just a little background information on exactly what it is I'm looking for. Like we talked about at the Capitol meeting, it's a highway safety grant that allows us to possibly get some new jaws of life equipment, cutters, spreaders, and rams for pushing. And so I just figured I'd add some pictures so you could see exactly what I was talking about. The first set of pictures is the is the equipment in the fire truck, and then the last 2 pages would be the new type of equipment, which is just basically tools and batteries, so.
Now, there isn't,
There is.
No, but it said there was pictures, and I kept looking through the packet.
well, now there is.
I know. I kept, where are they? Where are they?
Okay, so you don't think there's a match for this?
No, there is not a match. From my understanding, there is not a match for it.
Well, this is just my opinion. This is part of capital request. So if there was a match to these grants, and this is one of the chiefs, one of the acting chiefs' priorities, well, that's where the match would come from anyway, and we'd save money in that area. So whether there's a match or not, we're encouraging all of you to do this, because we do have the money from the casino that we can match.
So would this purchase both units that you presented?
Yes.
Last meeting?
Yes, this is the grant that I talked about at the Capitol meeting, and that is all the equipment that I would try to purchase in the grant and remove that from the Capitol.
And what is the dollar amount on the grant?
$42,000, which was in the,
It's in here somewhere.
in the capital request. $42,464. The
Now,
whole
Chris-
package.
Chris, anything to say?
Yeah, I would recommend you approve.
All right, well, I just want
Anytime we can get free money, it's
your
not
recommendation.
free. Somebody's paying for it, right? It's going somewhere else if we don't do it.
Craig, the new one, does the new one have lines? Lines connecting to it, or No is it lines, it's portable? all battery operated, and it's actually designed for the cutter's actually designed for the new type of metals that are out in the carts today. Our equipment is having a hard time cutting.
They
new
actually have
metals.
metal in carts today. I thought they were all plastic.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't say I was impressed, but it concerned me that the one that we're using now is breaking down as much as it is, and that we have to borrow from other
It is old,
communities.
yep. I mean, there's a lot less maintenance with the new stuff. The other stuff, we have the cord reels on the truck to maintain, the hydraulic generator to maintain, so it's a little bit less on maintenance.
And they're heavier. The old ones are
The
heavier.
old ones are definitely heavier, yes.
Dragging a hose around.
I just, where's the wording where it says there's no matching grant? I couldn't find it.
It's right
There
here
isn't
on the
any,
front
but
page.
if you read the front page,
Right here.
the very last line, the second paragraph.
So-
I know it says my understanding, but where
So
is it?
Charlestown Rescue just did the same, we have a lieutenant that works with us on the Tiverton Fire Department. He just submitted the same grant for Charlestown Rescue with zero match. He's very familiar with the grant. I looked it up. In that wording there, Donna,
It doesn't talk about a match or any type of match, so
It usually does.
it usually does if there's a match. It'll tell you a percentage.
I just wanted to just,
Oh, it'll definitely say if there's a match.
Typically, the highway safety grants do not have matches.
Yes.
Typically.
But even if there were,
It's a needed piece of
We're still
equipment.
ahead of the game.
Yes.
we're way ahead of the game.
So hopefully,
All
if I
right,
have your
any-
approval.
Any questions? Like to entertain a motion?
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Craig.
Whether you got this or not. I gotta send the application in first. Can't send it in without approval.
You're sticking around for 9C, just,
Yes.
Good job, Craig.
all right, 9B. Superintendent Sanchioni and School Department update on previous capital allocation for FY '21 casino funding as approved in FY '22, review of current capital requests for FY '22 casino gaming funding, and letter of intent, SBA stage of necessity of school construction, and that's what we talked about last week also. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Town Council. Great to be with you again. Thank you for the opportunity.
Is that on?
Is it plugged in? Just tap it, see if it's on.
Tap it. Yeah,
It's on, no?
it's not the best, but it's on.
So again, thanks for the opportunity to address you this evening. First of all, come to say thank you so much. I gave you a document showing the $2 million that you had allocated to us previously last year. I want you to show you that all the projects that we said we're going to work on, for the most part, have been completed. The only one that's left to be completed are the high school bathrooms, which that project will start this month. But all the other ones have been completed, and you can see right now that everything's coming in a little under budget, but pretty much spot on. And it also generated a pretty hefty reimbursement from Rhode. So for $2 million, it's $767,935 coming back to the town in a reimbursement, so.
I just want to interrupt you right here. We are working on that ordinance, which is probably going to be presented next meeting, where any reimbursement you get goes back into a special fund and is allocated to the schools. Of course, coming through us also, but yes. All right, I just wanted you to know that that was not forgotten.
Long time coming.
Okay.
The other document is really just for illustrative purposes only. I created that, as you know, our request is for the bathrooms and for the locker rooms at the high school. That's the sole request for future funding, but I wanted to show you how the reimbursements can continually be reallocated. If they were reallocated back to school, can continue to fund projects, and they continue to recoup new reimbursements. So it's money reinvested, more reimbursement, more reimbursement. So that's illustrative only. However, to continue to have projects accepted by RIDE for reimbursement, we need to submit an application. And the first step is what's called stage one. And here's the thing we want to be crystal clear on. Deb's been part of this, Mike's been part of this as part of the building committee. It's simply a letter of intent. I think, Chris, did they get the new letter?
I have it right here.
Okay. We created a
I think we
new
went
letter.
over that. This is stage one, right?
Stage one, right.
Okay.
So it's due September 15th, so we're seeking your approval tonight for a member, hopefully the chair, to sign this, and all it simply says is there's a need in Tiverton. We're not identifying financial, money, or projects. That's a stage two, and the assurance I think Dr. Locken and I want to make tonight is that we will work with this committee to allocate and to articulate what that stage two is. We won't submit anything to RIDE until we come before you, show you the project, show you the cost, and work with you hand in hand, so that is a very transparent process.
But but this is also so that we can get reimbursed for the THS locker rooms and bathrooms.
So the locker rooms are already approved
They were.
Right.
for our reimbursement, not just for funding.
Okay, so this is to get what approved?
So anything that's beyond the locker rooms.
Okay.
So right now, when there's
Oh,
different-
all right, all right, I get what you're saying.
It's like our plan.
So
Yes,
RIDE-
I get what you're saying.
So RIDE has approved the
This is so
locker
we can
rooms for
get more
reimbursement. They haven't been
reimbursements
funded
as we
yet.
go on.
Right, correct.
Okay.
Because
So-
if it's not in the plan,
I know, that's what
And
happened.
we, even if we put the money in, we can't get reimbursed, so.
Until it's been approved
But-
for
right.
a stage two.
Now, everything, so number one is the teachers, locker rooms and bathrooms. So 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 with this letter would be reimbursed.
If we submit a stage one, and then, and again, I said, as I started, that's illustrative purposes only.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying, whatever else we
Exactly.
decide.
These are all things that are eligible for reimbursement.
Right.
Reimbursement.
But
they-
this was what you asked for
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And Dr. Sanchioni explained that if we give the 1.2, we get 540, and this would help pay for all the rest.
Correct.
Right,
Okay.
so you could actually leverage
And
the
then
one
there's,
point two so if you funded 1.2, you'd be really funding if you returned the reimbursement, which could then, in itself, sort of an iterative process.
Yeah.
Where you would get even that reimbursed.
And then we take this reimbursement, apply it to the other items, and get reimbursed for those.
Correct.
And it'd be a constant motion.
Well, I mean, it decreases over time.
But
because
still,
you're getting a
but
certain percentage.
but
Right.
still.
Right, so if you fund 1.2 million, you're really funding something like,
500.
at least $500,000 more.
Yes.
Of projects that then would improve the schools. So-
Yes.
So it's sort of the reverse of compounding when you save something.
Any questions? Yeah.
So some of this is security stuff for the schools. And there was, from what the governor had said, I don't remember the name of the fund, it's like $500,000 of Valdi monies or something like that that's
Yes.
out there. So if you were to, and I don't know if you've applied for a grant for any of that, but would that also be reimbursable if you used a grant
Yeah.
of some sort?
it's somewhat misleading. That money was sent to SBA to use through this process. So it was sort of like, they want schools to address their security needs, but there's really no separate grant. This is the application process for security.
Right, just asking because
We all thought it was.
Okay,
We're all ready to apply, and then.
somebody asked me about it, so I figured I'd ask you about
Mario
it.
was,
More money
no,
there,
just
let's
submit
go.
it here, that's where you get reimbursed.
But I think that if you're getting funding from another source, Ride is probably not going to reimburse that.
They're not gonna let you double dip.
No, no. So
Like
it's.
get a grant and
Right,
then,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay, no,
yeah.
nothing wrong, I'm asking,
no,
it's,
We tried.
No, and these,
I guess we could put in the application.
I was gonna ask you to try if you didn't.
these security upgrades, this came out at our last meeting, I believe, the building meeting. One of the members, because of, the way things are in the world now, that we had done some security upgrades 2 years or 3 years ago, but we're not even like as new and up to date as we should be. So we wanted to add in some more safety features for the schools.
We made, so, I got elected a month before Sandy Hook, so it sort of hit you in that sense. So we've continued to upgrade our security really every year, one way or another, but there are still big gaps and, right.
Enhancements.
Every time there's a school shooting, you kind of like, what more can we do?
So I think, I love the way you wrote this out because it's much more clear and understandable. So,
Much more.
much more.
So what you need from us tonight is approval to send the stage one
Correct,
Yes.
and have me sign it,
correct.
okay? Is there a question from anyone? No. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Anything else?
So the only difference is there's a newer letter, it's just dated today, and your signature dates will be today versus the February one that
We'll
came
we'll
from.
give you a copy
Yeah.
right now.
This isn't here.
You've got it there. I can sign it up.
Yeah, but actually, give it to me for the clerk's records.
Okay. So motion made second, all those in favor?
I
Anything
abstain.
else? Oh, I'm sorry, Donna. So it's 5 with 1 abstention. Anything else while you've got us here? No?
Thank you.
Anything else while you've got us?
While you got us here.
Yeah, we
If you can
we
sign
should
it, I'll
put
give you
signs in the
copies so we can
schools
take it and
for the
send it in.
registration for basketball.
Can we get permission to do that?
Yeah, your
Okay.
colleague just
Hey,
asked.
Chair.
No, always welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
Sign your life away.
I think it's just really, this is exciting.
You notice they brought this letter with them and they have.
It's due the 15th.
Yeah.
2 days.
Well, I gotta get it in.
All right, any other questions for the superintendent and the chairman? Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris is making copies
Have a
and
good night.
gonna wait a couple of minutes until Chris comes back.
That should work out well.
Town Administrator, discussion and possible vote on acceptance of FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant, AFG, award of $339,546.66 for the radio system request.
So, through Craig's effort, and obviously the chief and some others that reviewed it and helped make sure we hit all the points, we were notified that we received the grant for, I think we originally put it for like 400, but there was a difference of,
420.
they didn't allow some things like dual radios in every vehicle. They allowed dual band radios, so that you could have 400 and 800 in one radio. So there was an adjustment that they made, but they made some positive adjustments as well, too.
Yeah, in our favor, yes.
So everything will be outfitted properly. We think it's a good thing. There's a match of about $17,000. It's a 5% match.
$16,977.34.
And
You want to use the offer.
so we're obviously coming back in for, this only does the fire department equipment radios. To outfit the entire consoles and police department, the whole project's about $1.4 million. So we'll be coming back looking for American Recovery monies. The final quotes actually just came in, so we're waiting for Chief Jones to come back, and they'll bring the vendor in, and we'll go through that. But we're looking at a substantial amount of monies to be, and actually, we already have the match. You gave $50,000 in CARES money that we used to buy some portable radios. So we've already made the match. We can apply that for the $16,000, so that's already done. But this is what I'm getting at. This is a part and parcel of a very large project. It'll update our radio systems for the next 25 years. That is
Was this on your casino money request? No.
No.
No, because
No.
we knew that.
Because we had the grant, we had the other, we were trying to, the other funds also. Yeah, this will equip all the trucks with new radios.
Yep.
800 system and portables. It's pretty big.
So it's like 25% of the big total.
Yeah.
It is, because this piece really only does the 400 series, and it gives them dual band radios in the vehicles. So the rest of it will be coming with the Cybercom quote that'll outfit everybody with the appropriate radios.
And hopefully we can get all
We got them.
the computer chips.
Well, no, I think they have, that's, Motorola wasn't an issue with it.
Yeah, good.
So there was a pretty long delay in this, just so that you know, it had nothing to do with us or anybody else around the country. There was some caveat that all these things had to be American-made somehow, that,
The components, yeah.
and they had to go back to Congress to get it cleared.
Yep.
So that's why the AFG grants are now just starting to come out. So this is a win-win for the town.
And then we're also waiting to hear on the Safer Grant, which they just started
I was
awarding.
just gonna ask you
They
about.
just started awarding this week,
Right.
which again, they're behind. So they're awarding that they just start the awards this week, so we
Yeah,
missed
to
the
keep our
first round,
fingers
yes.
crossed there.
I watch for it every day.
Again, we used the same process when we did the Safer Grant. We had a lot of people look at it. A lot of people had input to it, and we had a lot of reviewers of people that actually won these types of grants and and we actually, in both these, we went back to the grant administrators and showed them tentatively what we were gonna apply for, and they pointed out some of the areas that we probably should have beefed up, and we did everything that they asked us to. That's,
Any questions from the council?
Just so the Safer Grant, does that mean if we didn't get it in the first round? that
No.
It doesn't mean anything?
they'll be issuing rounds for, they got 50 states and
Yeah.
They
how
do
many
that a
fire
lot.
departments
They
to go
just-
through.
yeah.
It's,
Yeah, until they run out of money, so we're probably looking, I think they want to have all the funds out by at least the end of October, November. Every week, every Wednesday, they do another round, they let the Congress people know first, and actually, I think we got a phone call earlier.
Yep.
Right, so they let Congress know first, and then they pass it down to us, and then on a Friday, they put it out to the
Oh,
system,
that's
so.
right, that's how we.
actually, Bruce got the call, he was on the
Yeah.
tractor now.
All right, any further questions? I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Right.
Motion's been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Town Administrator, discussion, possible vote to proceed with the USDA grant application for police and public works. This is a good one.
So Chief Jones, I will give him, and Rebecca Strom from the USDA, both of them have worked hand in hand over the last 4 years of, Rebecca has been promoted to a newer higher position. She's keeping Tiverton as one of her clients. She was able to research through USDA to find out, we've already been granted and all allocated the monies that Tiverton's allowed. There are some dormant monies sitting out there that she found for us. We got the application in at the last minute, but we're applying for everything that DPW asked for in the capital grant. And the 3 police cars, so that Tiverton would actually get, at the end of the day, if we get everything funded, all the police cars come free and we pay for.
Now,
It's
was
actually a
there-
pretty good deal.
Was
At
there also, Chief had also said possibly the car for the tax assessor?
So he didn't say anything about that yet.
Because he said he was gonna try to throw that in.
BMW?
A
He did.
BMW, I'm
Oh.
sure, right?
Fancy bicycle, ask him.
Yeah.
I don't think that made the grant application, but
But if-
we did ask for his car and the capital request from the
But if
gaming.
we get this, then we have more of the casino money.
Money, right,
that
right.
goes around.
I'm
which we can
being
always
greedy.
use that.
No, I get
Look at
that.
Rick smiling, he might get everything that he asked for.
So I will give Chief all the credit for this because he was pretty tenacious about asking her to look around. She found some monies and he got that grant in. He had to apply for it last week.
Because he wants those
So-
cars.
At the end of the day, I told him, go ahead and do it. If we're in trouble for doing this, he's trying to do what's right by the town. And
Is there
you
any
guys have
matching?
never given him a hard time
Is there
about
any-
buying something that's tangible.
Is there
It was
any
a
matching?
short-term thing.
Yeah, it would be a match. Yeah, it would definitely be a match. They would actually fund about $200,000, or
Okay.
just under $200,000
But
of the entire
But
thing.
like I said, it's part of the casino request.
Yeah, so the money would go back into that fund. No different than we did last time.
All right, any questions? Like to entertain a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been, do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
At some point, we should probably add
Abstain.
up everything that
And
we're
Donna
saving on
abstained.
these things.
Well, we will.
Well, believe me, he lets me know.
Yeah.
No, I'll publish it.
He'll let us know. Town administrator discussion, possible vote to authorize request for information from for information from local vendors to perform accident repairs after vehicle accidents.
So what we're looking to do is to create a list of vendors, qualified vendors, to perform repairs to our vehicles. And these are repairs, are not general maintenance repairs. They're crash vehicles, like when they hit the cow and the front end had to be all the parts had to be fixed, and or if they backed into something and there's body damage that a mechanic doesn't normally do. So we've been sending our cars to Five Star in Westport. They do excellent. They have 3 paint booths. Our cars are always secured in a garage. They're never outside. They turn them around as expeditiously as possible. Some of our local vendors just can't do that. We also get far better quality of some work to be done, but we'll put together an RFI for people to respond to so that we're not criticized for, not having local vendors do our work. And it's sometimes, I would love to give it to local vendors, but I think that we need to also ensure that these cars, every car that we have, as you can see, the last ones we get were 25 years old, and we passed a lot around. It's not just police, they go into other departments. So we tried the best, and I give Tiverton a lot of credit for this. We've been very frugal over the years, and have always tried to maximize the ability of getting these cars an extended lifetime. So we try to take care of them. Our people have a lot of pride in what it is that they drive around, and we think it's appropriate that we take care of them properly. So we'll put together a questionnaire, we'll put it out to all the vendors, and we'll rank them as they come back, and we'll create a qualified list of vendors.
And full disclosure, this has come up because of phone calls that I received from the auto bodies in this area. And they asked if we could do something like this, a bid list, so that if they can do the job, would we consider hiring the Tiverton auto bodies instead of outside of?
So would we have more than one?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Well, as many as respond and apply.
Any questions? I'd like to entertain a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Pecassid Hill Cemetery. Cemetery Commission, discussion and possible vote to approve the commission's amendments to cemetery handbook, rules, and regulations. We discussed this at a previous meeting. We did make a few changes.
No.
No? I thought we
I
did.
didn't have a chance to read them.
Oh,
So,
that's right, okay.
But you did read them now,
I
right?
did read them.
Okay.
I was dying to read them.
That's what it was.
Are you a resident? Good one, buddy.
Okay,
Oh, my goodness.
and some of the concerns we spoke about.
You talked about the Tiverton resident moving out, we having it. So that was all
Yeah,
taken
so
care of.
that's, if a Tiverton resident, and I'll make this clear for the camera, if a Tiverton resident buys a plot now and they move out of town, that plot is still there.
Still there.
And
If you look on page,
Because that was a concern of some
3.
people, that the children who aren't Tiverton residents.
Basically, like I said, the only thing that we're changing is basically some of the wording. Again, you have to be a Tiverton resident in order to purchase
To purchase,
a burial right,
but you
okay?
don't have to remain a Tiverton
You
resident.
do not have to remain a Tiverton resident. Also, we have something in here, if someone's been a Tiverton resident for 50 years, and for health reasons, they have to go and live with a son or daughter or sibling or something in Fall River, or out of town, anywhere out of town, and they pass away, if they want to be buried back in Tiverton, we will allow that, because they left because
You
of
will
basically,
You will sell them a plot.
this has been in, our rule's been in effect for a while. This is in here also.
Like if someone went to a nursing home in Fall River.
Correct, someone went to a nursing home in Fall River, that's their legal residence
And
now.
the family wanted to bury them in
Right.
Tiverton, they could buy a plot.
Correct.
Okay.
And if they don't, at the time of their passing, if they do not have a plot at the cemetery, they will be allowed to purchase a plot. If the family already has a plot, then there's nothing to worry about.
But they might not have a plot, you never know, and they could still be buried in Tiverton.
And the other thing, too, there was a little confusion about the veterans. The veterans do not pay for a plot or burial rights in the veteran circle, okay? That, they are given the grave for free. However, they do have to pay for the operations as far as like the digging and rental of the equipment. So that was something else that we, the opening and closing charges will apply. That's something else that we put in here because there's a little bit of confusion about that too.
Okay. Any questions for Bob? Nope. I'd like to entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
And then,
I think we're gonna have to defer this to the next meeting because she's on vacation, which I didn't know.
oh, okay. So we'll table this?
Table it till, yeah, but that in executive session.
Yeah, we really don't have to continue it.
It's up to you if you want to continue, but it's,
Oh, all right, so we'll, I need a motion to continue 9G and 11A to the next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made in second. All those in favor? Town clerk. Update on September 13th, 2022 primary election process. Joan actually isn't here tonight because she's been preparing for this all day and called me before I got here and was just coming home, and she has to get up very early tomorrow morning to set all this up and to continue this. So that's why we have G.
Yeah, so just a brief mention, early voting is ended as of today, 4 p.m. And tomorrow's the big day, statewide primary election, tomorrow, September 13th. Polls open at 7 a.m. and they run to 8 p.m.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session, town administrative, Rhode Island General Law 4246582, collective bargaining, update on the Teamsters Local 251, town solicitor, Rhode Island Law 42465A, litigation, 21 Riverside LLC v. Tiverton, NC 2022-0100, discussion and review and potential vote to approve a settlement of tax appeal for property located at 21 Riverside Drive. D, town solicitor, RIGL 42465A, litigation, LB Corp v. Tiverton, NC 2021-0401, discussion, review, and potential vote on proposed settlement of a tax appeal for the property at 0 Fish Road, plot 107, lot 106, and potential grant of easement to plaintiff over town-owned property. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Do I have a
Second.
Yes.
Councilor Perry?
Yes.
Councilor Cook? Yes. Councilor Janick?
Yes.
Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor